All right. So we are here, Alex McCreary, of course, and Autumn Blue, the women's basketball for San Jose State beat reporter. So thank you so much, Autumn, for coming on.
Thank you for joining me. I'm so glad to be here today.
Awesome. So, Autumn, you're the one person who knows the women's basketball team probably better than anyone else on the Spear, but maybe even on campus. I mean, you never really know here. What were some of the storylines that came out of this year's season?
Oh, that 13 game losing streak. That was huge. That I came in right when that started. So after that, it was 13 games of just me writing about, okay, are they going to beat them? Like they had a good chance. And then you get to the second half and things just kind of go downhill really fast. So that was a big one. We got Cindy Lewis with her 1,000 point game during the Air Force game. That was insane. She's the 18th Spartan to do that. So those are some really big headlines for this season for us.
And then also, I mean, as a journalist covering a team like that, was it a struggle at all, or how was that experience for you?
It was a struggle. It's when you write about your school and as a journalist, you want to write about them in a good light and stuff. So when you have such a long streak of them losing, it's kind of like, okay, well, I don't want to say this because like I still want them to sound good, but at the end of the day, you have to say it how it looks. And we're losing. We weren't doing good for most of the season, and things just fell flat. So yeah, it was really hard to talk about them. Um, and it kind of got to the point where you start piecing in like the other schools in your work because they're setting records, they're hitting career streaks and stuff because our team was just so bad that they were getting the highest things and that's where they met their mark. So that kind of sucked, but it was really fun to actually cover that because sometimes you just need that. So everyone's covering games that like is going hit after hit. So to get that like humbling experience of writing that we're not doing some good, that was definitely a career point for me and definitely made me want to work harder.
Hey, well, fair enough. So yeah, I mean, like you said, 5-25 final record. It was, you're kind of bottom of the barrel in terms of the Mountain West Conference and NCAA Division One basketball as a whole. But one of the things that I saw, kind of like looking at the stats right before this, was they did beat some of the teams that it was like you're supposed to beat these teams. It's not like they beat their wins were against Academy of Art, Pacific, East Washington, and they also beat Boise State twice. And so, in your mind, is the conversation like ringing the alarm bells? Like, do we still belong in Division One basketball? Like, are we still worthy here, or is the conversation more like they had a really strong schedule? They didn't have a lot of easy games, and they still did capitalize when they had some opportunity. How do we build on this next year? What's the beat here?
Of course, we will belong at Division One basketball or to San Jose State. Why wouldn't we be? But the thing that I seen was, yeah, we missed the mark on teams that we should have won against multiple times. I think it falls on teamwork and working as a team because you see we have all these players. We have Cindy Lewis and Ella Ogier and Atiana Golden, but when it comes to us playing as a team, it falls flat. Where they play as individuals, I've noticed. So that's something that definitely needed more work on in general for the whole team. Because then you just tend to keep seeing the star players each preview, each recap. So I definitely the teamwork was lacking this season, especially we would be doing good, really good in the first half. We trail along at some points, but when it came to the second half and when other teams ran off with the lead, that's where we fell flat. It just seemed like the momentum just wasn't there, and we kind of just gave up.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Atiana Golden was one of those players that came into the transfer portal in terms of profile, in terms of pedigree. She was a little bit higher on the radar in that regard, and she didn't get her flowers, like you said before the interview. Could you talk a little bit more about her impact on the team?
She was a strong point. She definitely was a strong point. There was multiple games towards the end where she was the leading lady, and I can't remember which game it was in specifics, but she led the Spartans that night, and we still lost, but she led us, and that's what we needed, someone to take the reins and run with it, and she definitely did. Her impact on the court was great. I just wish she did get I wish she got her flowers, to say the least, because she was just as big as Cindy Lewis. Maybe it was because she came from the transfer portal, so we really didn't get a feel for her as much as Cindy because she came with like the full 4 years. But she definitely needed her flowers because she did some hard hitters for us. Definitely.
Well said. Okay, I got three more for you, but I want to check in with
Hmm.
Alex, make sure that he's not missing anything.
Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to follow up. It sounds like teamwork is definitely, probably the most important thing going into this next season that they need to work on. What's something else that you see with this team that you think needs improvement on?
Height, honestly. Um, Height's not everything, but with our next season of people, we have some household names we already know. Stephanie Torres is a junior right now. Ella Shears a junior. But other than that, everyone else is going to be sophomores and freshmen, and most of them are under the 6 foot mark, and all our seniors are 6 foot and above and stuff. So it definitely we need to figure out how to work around the height difference with other teams because these other girls on teams they're 6'3" and stuff. So that definitely plays into character. But I definitely think the teamwork just has was lacking this season. Um, yeah.
Awesome. You're talking about like Oberg and was it Deja Ross? That is the graduating 6 foot seniors.
Yes, so the dream team is graduating. So it's Atiana Golden, Deja Ross, Megan Oberg, Cindy Lewis. We have all those seniors leaving. So the only two upperclassmen for next season will be Stephanie Torres and Ella O'Shear. Everyone else will be about really a junior and stuff. So that's interesting to look at for sure.
Awesome. Well, they do have 9 players coming back.
Mhm.
And like you also already talked about Ogier and how she was really impactful this year. Obviously, she's probably going to look to carry on a little bit more next year. But I want to ask, who else of this crop of freshmen and sophomore? I think there's 8 fresh/sophomore players on this team right now. Who are you looking towards to carry the load next year?
Yeah, I'm looking at sophomore point guards, Steve Jones, and freshman guard Sydney Richards, and especially Richards, because every time that Richards gets off the bench, she's clean. She's fighting for her buckets and everything. She's trying to get to the rim, and it just seems like every game that she gets put in, she's improving. And I forgot which interview it was. I read that she's been doing work off the court on her own time. So it's definitely I definitely can see it. You see the improvement with her. So definitely Richards is going to be a star. I know that.
All right. So Sydney Lewis, kind of on an island in terms of the scoring volume load, as well as Ogier kind of carrying a lot of that, like the shot attempts in terms of what we're talking about. The efficiency wasn't really there, but I mean, what can you say? I mean, we got a losing season. Lewis is graduating. Ogier is going to be the season. Is this like? Should we be looking at next year as like Ogier's year, or are you seeing that we're going to really go back to the drawing board and shift this into more of a different formula, trying to get some wins in a different way?
I definitely think Ogier is going to be one of the leading lady of this the season. But I think it should be back to the drawing boards, honestly. Not saying that there's the people on the team is not good or anything. I just think we need to like work out the small little kinks and stuff. So we work more cohesively. Sorry, gosh, work better as a team on the court. I don't know if that just has to go with like cleaner plays or more team bonding experiences. But if we just work more as a team, we could see ourselves just as great as other teams in our division.
Awesome. And last question for you real quick. And by the way, it doesn't really matter if you mess up because I can just edit this later. Sydney shot a team high 538 from 3-point range, which is probably unsustainable, right? There's no way she's shooting 53% from deep on a full season. That's actually on only 13 shot attempts where she sank 7 of them. So remarkable, but still, right? But she also never started a game and only got into 20 games played this season. Do you maybe disagree with how little opportunity she got, considering SJSU was having a losing season? Do you think that maybe if she was incorporated into the formula there, we maybe would have had a few different outcomes in terms of the win column?
You're talking about Lewis?
Richards.
Honestly, I think she should have been put in more. I remember one game she was off the bench just killing it. And I was like, who is that? And I had to literally look her up, and I was like, that's Sydney Richards. She's a freshman, and I think we need more people that's putting in the work like she is. I sometimes get comfortable when we start playing a sport, and especially when you're losing, you don't have that strive, that momentum. And I think Sydney, when every time she got on the court, she wanted to make a difference. She wanted to get her name out there, and we need more people like that. And when you see a strive like that, I think you need to put in like more eyes on her and trying to get her in there because like I said, I think she's going to be a star on campus.
Awesome. Alex, you got anything else?
No, I think we covered a lot of bases here. Thank you, Autumn, for coming on. Is there anything else that you want to add about the season overall?
I don't, even though we lost as badly as we did, it's not our bottom line. We have great people. We have great students. We have these student athletes doing amazing. There's so many things to come the pandemic and to do this, that's some great work and stuff. So I think we're just on a building from here, and we're going to see better. This loss is not the end for San Jose State. It's only the beginning.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Autumn Bloom. You're the women's basketball beat reporter. Autumn, what else? Can we promote anything else for you? Your Twitter or anything else?
You can follow me on Twitter at AutumnBlue3. I am also the softball beat reporter, so you will see me have a little more things for those. And I'm going to try to get some features in for the Spears. So that's just the new things I'm working on right now.
All right. Autumn Blue, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.